Welcome back, pro wrestling fans. Welcome back, IWC. It's me. It's me. It's the GOC. Coming to you live to tape 25 feet below the surface of the earth for another episodic YouTube adventure here on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel for Chaos Corner. Let that marinate. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Let that sink in. I can't thank you enough for being here. Drop an elbow on that like button. Give it an eye rake. Pick up your chair and smash the fucking button. No offense, man. Kayfabe, I apologize for the cussing. Shout out to my moderators. I acknowledge the OTS tribal queen and, of course, my brother from another mother, Austin Nance. In order to get respect, you have to start with respecting yourself. Once you do that, you open other people's minds to respecting you. There's three types of people in this world. Those who don't know what happened. I'm talking to you. Those who wonder what happened. And I'm talking to you. And people like the GOC, Big Daddy, that makes things happen. One man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog for you, the fans, because this isn't a fucking podcast. This is a show. I don't compete with anybody else. I compete with me because it doesn't matter who's here. I'd be doing it regardless. With my over 50 years, 55 years as a researcher, a scout, a historian, a fan, a smark, a mark. That's right, I fucking said it. A mark. And my over 3 decades in the business as a pro wrestling manager who took the fucking bumps. Again, I apologize for the cussing. Most of you out there in this space, in this community, you can't say that. That's why this show is different. No better, the most unique channel in this space. Much love and respect for everyone that's here. Everyone remembers the day the music died. The Big Bopper, Richie Valens, Buddy Holly, they all perished in a small plane crash, and Don McLean sang all about it in American Pie. Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die. Another sad day in history, at least in professional wrestling history, was when Vince McMahon hammered the final nail in the coffin. If you know, you know. On March 23rd, 2001, World Wrestling Federation, now World Wrestling Entertainment, acquired their biggest competitor, World Championship Wrestling, including all global rights of the brand and their entire library of vintage classics. The matches, the promos. This day will live in infamy because it was the day pure wrestling competition died. Remember the time frame as we're in the time machine here on Chaos Corner. Sure, UFC wasn't even born at that time. Mixed martial arts may slightly challenge the WWE's ratings now and then. And TNA continues to sign veteran big names in an effort to steal some thunder. But legitimate competition is as dead as Al Snow's Avatar gimmick. You don't get history and nostalgia like this on any other channel. Everybody wants to talk about the current day product. You come here to learn history, facts. So you're better off when you walked in here than when you walk out of here. It's just that simple. You come here to learn things. Not thoughts and opinions and viewpoints, but actual facts. So you can hold a fucking conversation the next time you're at a venue, a holiday gathering, at work, at the water cooler, a bar, a pub, a tavern, the beach, wherever, the mountains, wherever it is that you are. That's why I say that every single time. And again, I'm full of piss and vinegar today. Well, and tonight. And yesterday and tomorrow. I've already had a nice iced coffee. I'm getting ready for to crack open Hawaiian shaved ice. Pehea oe melihini kane and wahine. Pupule wiki wiki. Aloha and mahalo from the GOC for all my brothers and sisters over in the islands. Let me see if I can. The sounds and nectars of the gods. Oh, thank you for being here. Much love and respect. Just know that I know, and I know that you know that I know, that you're watching. 220,000 of you in the last month. Over 1 million views. 2,500 subscribers or 250,000. It doesn't matter. I know that you're here. And it gets back to me that some of you in the higher ups are even here. I appreciate it. Maybe you'll learn something. No offense, what'd I say? Kayfabe, man, at least in my life. Not bad. Hawaiian shaved ice. Step away from the usual sugar-free Red Bull that I'm consuming here. No sponsors! Everyone has kicked me to the curb. I'm picking tar out of my ass. The only ones I could truly count on are my brothers down at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling on all social media platforms. We just came out of this past weekend of Mania in Paradise. Our biggest show of the year, sold out at the Greater New Haven JCC in Woodbridge. That's right, the Paradise 4. Owner, Mario Mancini, in the WWF from 84 to 92. Debut for the Hart Foundation, King Kong Bundy, Ted DiBiase, Big Bully Busey, The Undertaker. And when he was in the WWF, he was the youngest competitor and talent on the roster to work for the largest company in the world for 8 years. That's the owner of our company. Also in the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame and the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. And then there's our head trainer, Pretty Paul Roma. Do I need to tell you the accolades? Power and Glory with Hercules Hernandez. Pretty Wonderful with Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. The Young Stallions with Jim Powers and Roma. And of course, the Four Horsemen, with everyone from Flair to Tully to Arn to J.J. Dillon, Lex Luger, Barry Windham. Does it get better than that? That's right. Woo! Ric Flair and Paul Roma. Let that marinate. That's our head trainer at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, also in the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. And of course, the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. And I know there's other members in the Four Horsemen that I missed. I get it. But you understand what I'm talking about. Also, as a part of the Paradise 4, one of our co-trainers and our producer for all the live events, second generation grappler. His mother and father were luchadors. No me jodas, maricón, muévete, culo cabrón, pendejo. What I say, man? No offense. De nada, man. Lighten up. Yes, I speak like 5 languages. His mother and father were luchadors. He got some of his professional wrestling in his early years in the basement of his house. And then he made it all the way to New York. And that would be one Mr. Paul Perez. Cousin to Roberto Soto. So it runs in the family. It's generational with Perez. And then there's the silent partner, owner of the Rib House. That's right, the Rib House and Ribs to Go. You won't find any better ribs in the Constitution State, the Nutmeg State, if you will, in the greater New England tri-state Northeast area, in the shadows of Titan Towers, than the Rib House. And that would be 6'6", 350 pounds of Big Steve Tracy, formerly of Big Steve Bail Bonds, who was trained by Dr. D, the original bad boy of pro wrestling, to be a bounty hunter. And of course, you know my history with Dr. D. I worked with him and for him as well as a bounty hunter. It wasn't a bail enforcement agent back then. It was a bounty hunter. Let that sink in. Those are the Paradise Four. Mancini, Roma, Perez, and Big Steve, a.k.a. Big Dave Paradise, who also was in the WWF. And all of these men, including yours truly, trained at the legendary Quest facility under the guidance of the Stanford Stomper. You know what Bully Ray said. Give the Guardian of Chaos 6 spots, he'll fuck up 5 of them. I'm proud of that coming from Bully Ray. Tough Tony Altamore, one half of the Sicilians with Captain Lou Albano. Let that marinate, let that sink in. I was there ever so briefly. They kicked my ass from pillar to post and coast to coast, but I made it back as a pro wrestling manager. Remember that. That's the history of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. In the legendary territory of the Greater New Haven Coliseum, the home of the World Wrestling Federation throughout the 70s, the 80s, into the 90s. That's the history and lineage that you get at PAPW. They're my only sponsors. Those are my brothers. That's my family. That's who I can count on. As I get off track here on Chaos Corner. But that's why you're here. The relatability and the uniqueness of this channel, of someone who was in the fucking business, in the ring, and now still does the broadcast and color commentary for Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. And our show will be out in the next 24 to 48 hours for Mania in Paradise right here on YouTube. So go out and check, as I said, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling on all social media platforms. And with the students that have come out of that school already. 10 years in existence. A school that not only teaches you about life and also pro wrestling, but runs its own promotion and its own shows. So you get it all when you go to that school and sign up as a student. You want to be a pro wrestler, a referee, a ring announcer, a manager, a valet, just to be involved in the business, you go to PAPW. Not too many other organizations can say that. As I don't even have to sell you on my home company. So just to give you a little sidebars of information on what's going on in my world. Again, Roma trained, Mancini brained, all ready to graduate from the school and going on to compete for Paradise Alley, and now on to bigger and better things, from the IWA to MLW to WWE NXT to the Performance Center, to even being included in background segments on SmackDown and on Raw, all ready to come out of Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Breathe it in, because it's rarefied air, and that would be Richard Holiday. That's right, formerly of the Dynasty with Hammerstone and MJF. The straw that stirred the drink. Richard Holiday, out of PAPW, the very first student to graduate. And look where he is now. Also, Dustin Flash Waller and Kylon King, known as the Miracle Generation, perhaps the hottest tag team in the entire country on the independent scene. Independent pro wrestling, the backbone of this fucking industry, of this business. And that's just a fact. They were rated in the top 50 tag teams in the world. Flash Waller, Kylon King. Research is your friend. Do your due diligence. Also, whether you call him Gorgeous Greg or Beautiful Brad, Brad Baylor. The 19-year-old veteran. The 20-year-old veteran. Already been to the Performance Center, just like Holiday. Taking limited independent dates. Graduated from Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Scouted by one of the top scouts in the WWE who's been down to Paradise Alley twice now in the last 2 years, and that's one Gabe Sapolsky from Ring of Honor, Evolve, Triple H's right-hand man at times. That says it right there. Keep an eye on Brad Baylor. He won't be in the independent scene for much longer. There's also Swish with Benny the Basketball, and that would be one, the high-flying, elevating, death-defying Jermaine Marbury, right out of Rucker Park. Another star on the rise, Jermaine Marbury. I can go on with the list of talent. Sean Knight, Jay Onyx, a.k.a. The Haven, No Gimmicks Gibbs, Jeremy Lacroix. I can go on. Skylar from the women's division, Killer J. And not to mention the stars that have come to work for Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Everyone from Darby Allin to Matt Riddle to Keith Lee to Zack Sabre Jr. to legends like Booker T, current female stars like Megan Bayne, the Megasis, Deonna Purrazzo. We've also had the likes of Whose House? Swerve's house at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. That's right, Shane Strickland, Sabu, Willie Mack. I can go on here. Not to mention our tag team division, because they are tag team wrestling. Hakim Ali, Nick Payne, the House of Pain. 1,000 pounds of pressure per slap. 3-time tag team champions in Paradise Alley. Negotiating right now with the NWA. Throw in the Boricua Bombers, Boricua Brothers, the Pyramids of Power. The list goes on. Our current heavyweight champion, the air guitar wizard, Troy Stevens, who just beat Mr. Everything Triple Crown winner, Showtime Marcel Williams, one of the best veterans in this entire industry. Heavyweight champion, United States champion, Alley Fights champion, Intercontinental champion, inaugural winner of the Hercules Hernandez Memorial Tournament. That's what you get at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. And there's many others that I'm missing out on. Everyone from Sylvan to Mooch to the Crocodile King, Alan Compass. The list goes on of talent that I'm missing right now. You guys know that I love you down there. Not to mention the voice of Paradise, the voice of New England, the voice of Northeast. Not one, but we have two. Matt DeCourt, the true voice of this area and the voice of Paradise Alley. Unbelievable, Matt DeCourt. And then there's my former broadcast partner, Talkin' Tommy Sabin, who works for minor league affiliates from everybody from the New York Islanders to the New York Knicks to several different universities in the area. It doesn't get much better than the good-looking, lady-loving Talkin' Tommy Sabin. That's the talent. And let's not forget, we have the most qualified refs in the entire Northeast, perhaps the country. The Zebras of Justice. El Gallo Tres Huevos, El Ref, the ever omnipresent and toughest referee in all of pro wrestling, Jay Mendez, senior ref Bill Thompson, Ref Jordan Major, Gina Monty, a.k.a. Blue Shoes. You've seen her in MLW, AEW. And then, of course, our enforcer of the referees. And that would be the Pitbull, my man Q. He's no one to be trifled with, Q. And I'm missing out a few others as well. But those are the Zebras of Justice. That's what you get. And again, it's not just about pro wrestling. It's about being mentored in life by experience, credibility. Men who worked in the WWF, worked in WCW, under the guidance of Vincent Kennedy McMahon, good, bad, or otherwise. Madison Square Garden, WrestleManias, championships, Hall of Fames. As I said, credibility. So I went off on a tangent. I was talking about something totally different. But I wanted to talk about my one and only loyal sponsor who's been there with me for the last 10 years through good times and bad, and that's Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Don't you dare miss it on that one. Let's get back to what I was talking about. We're only 20 minutes in here. WCW and the WWE feuded for some 20 years, vying for fans. And fans' attention as well, obviously. Hello, McFly. Do I have to do it again? Especially at the height of the Monday Night Wars of the 1990s. And going neck and neck in the ratings. Where they were getting 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 million people a night, when now, and the product's gotten pretty hot in WWE in 2024, what do they get, 2 million? For the longest time, they were getting 1 million plus, 2 million, 2.5. Couldn't carry the jock straps back then, and AEW's not even coming close to 1 million. All the companies combined today, from WWE, AEW, TNA, Impact, Maple Leaf Wrestling, New Japan, Ring of Honor, MLW, NWA, I think I said them all. All of them combined wouldn't add up to the numbers and ratings from the 90s Monday Night Wars. Think about that as I present the evidence to you here. Sure, WWE had the edge most of the time, but WCW brought its A game with stars like Magnum TA, obviously the legendary Ric Flair, but that latter statement refers to the 1980s. Let's get back to the 1990s here on the Time Machine, when there was no better time to be a wrestling fan. The 1990s were unpredictable, which in wrestling is rare. You had, in the WWE, you had the Ruthless Aggression era, you had the Attitude era, ECW was exploding, WCW, the Monday Night Wars, AWA was hanging on by a thread. The rest of the territory system by the late 80s, early 90s had become persona non grata. Although now, in this day and age, 2024, going into 2025, and over the last handful of years, there's independent pro wrestling, which is the backbone of this industry. As I already said, in every city, town, state, across this country, Canada, Japan, Mexico, truly has turned into a territorial system where you can make a living. Think about that. So what goes around comes back around and goes back around again. Fans never knew which face would turn heel or which WWE star might turn up on WCW. On the programming on any given night, that could happen. I can give you examples, especially Rick Rude, Bret Hart. Throw in ECW, Jim Cornette, Jerry the King Lawler, different nights, different times, if I got my facts straight, and you know that I usually do. And if not, help me out. I don't get offended. You can correct the GOC. That's me. All right, fans, let's get back to where I was. I was like a kid in a candy shop every single Monday night. Well, not me personally, because I was in the business during the Monday Night Wars, working with a lot of those same athletes. Truly blessed and humbled and honored. I consider it unbelievably, I'm so grateful for the opportunities and for the legends and stars and young lions and talent that allowed me to work with them. And for the promoters, the over 50, 100 different promotions that I worked across in this country, truly thankful for every opportunity, to where I made the class of 2019 New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, followed in the very next year in the class of 2020 for Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. A pro wrestling manager who made my debut way, way, way back in 1991. Or was it 1990? Went to school in 84, briefly. Everywhere from Tony Altamori's, briefly. Rocky Jones, Iron Mike Sharp, Gino Caruso, Jason Knight, strongman Kenny Fontano, who benched 660 pounds. Self-defense specialist who not only trained all of law enforcement here in the Nutmeg Constitution State, but also with Billy Blanks. You guys know who Billy Blanks is, and that would be one Randy Roach, one tough son of a bitch. Those are my trainers. Those are the places that I attended and schools that I stopped by and learned my ply, or learned to, I guess that's the right word, all different areas from all different people, taking a wealth of knowledge, plus my own personal training. Everything from boxing to getting golden gloves in the early 70s, onto martial arts, powerlifting, bodybuilding, and still to this day, I just got back from the gym about, an hour ago. The old man brand, the over 60 demo god. Let that marinate. You know I got a heat with this AI stuff and this mechanical bitch, right? Because everybody's watching. Big Brother's watching. You guys know that. As we have a menagerie of a show right here. I got to play around with this. Alexa, play tropical thunderstorm sounds for my fans. It's much more serene. We need rain. We're in one heck of a drought. I'm not sure. I got a new camera angle up today, so I'm not sure. They say it puts an extra 10 pounds in when you're on. Might have put 25 on me. I get it, man. I scare the rats off cheesecake, make onions cry. But with that being said, almost 50% of the demographic here on this channel is female. So guys, if you're not hanging around on Chaos Corner or telling your buddies to check out the shows, I don't know what the heck you're doing. I know a lot of people don't comment in the chat. They watch the replay, but they're here. The demographics, the numbers, they don't always tell the story, but they don't lie. So thank you to all the women, including my wife, my daughter, my granddaughter, my nieces, sister-in-laws, everybody that tunes in, the female demographic on this channel. Again, 220,000 in the last month. 48% of them are women. United States, United Kingdom, Ireland, India, Japan, Mexico. They're all here. So guys, if you're a gentleman and you want to act like a class act, that's what we have here. Class. Well, not by me all the time, but you get it. Where was I? We were like kids in a candy store, but like, as I said, I was in the business, but I was still a mark. And that's not a bad word. We're all marks at one time or another. Just depends on what degree. You don't want to be this mark. That's a little crazy. Don't idolize, idolatry. That word is not good. Your family should be your idols. People that have helped mentor you or you yourself. Not any entertainer, actor, musician. Get your head out of your ass. No politician's going to save you. There's one person that's going to save you. The one who died for you. And that's our Lord and Savior. And after that, it's the military. All branches of the military, I salute you. Because they died for us as well. Every single Monday night, switching back and forth from station to station to catch what was going to happen next. One moment to Savior. What moment to Savior? Remember the rock and sock connection? I know that you do. And right here on the channel, if you navigate in-ring action, I took that damn sock from Mr. Socko. That's right. I wasn't happy about it, Foley, and I'm still not happy about it. And Jerry the King Lawler, old man, legend or not, Hall of Famer, I didn't forget those right hands either. And the feud that we had back in the independence in the 90s into the 2000s. And Rock, it was great to work with you. The poster's right here, somewhere around here. When we opened up in Brooklyn, that Bally's Fitness Center. with the AWA Superstars. You were on loan as well. What a night that was. Thousands of people. So I appreciate that, Rock. You were nice to me. You let me shake your hand. You gave me a few minutes. You took a photo. Yeah, you didn't perform like you said you were gonna, but being there in an in-ring interview is good enough. So thank you, Rock. Start using your influence in better ways. I'm not telling you what to do. Who am I to argue with you? You're a millionaire, a billionaire. You have a lot of influence, so be careful what you say and do. Do it for the right fucking reason. Just an opinion, just a viewpoint, just a thought. Because I know things get back. Somebody clip this. And what about moments to spit out from back in the day? Like das Wunderkind. Alex Wright? Really? I hear he's a nice guy, but really? Das Wunderkind? Boy, let me tell you, there was some garbage. Not only here, as I talk about all the time, and I give my true-to-life facts and opinions. As I said, I tell it like it is. Back in the 80s and 90s, there was certainly garbage as well. No era is exempt. Remember that. When people get criticized, don't be so uptight. The golden era of wrestling, unfortunately, overstayed its welcome, and by 2021, WCW was limping in the ratings, and real stars like Vampiro just didn't cut it. Now, to me, that wasn't the golden era of the Monday Night Wars, Attitude, Ruthless Aggression, WCW Nitro, Raw's War, ECW. That wasn't the golden era to a guy like me. The golden era was the early 80s into the middle 80s, maybe even the late 80s. That was the golden era in my lifetime. Not too far behind, the 70s was an incredible pro wrestling era. The original boom in pro wrestling was with the advent of television and wrestling being one of the only things to watch. Now, mind you, the 5 top athletes in the world making money back then, one was the heavyweight champion of the world in boxing, and the other 4 were pro wrestlers, the world champions. Remember that. I know you've heard that before, but that's a true fact. So that was the original golden era of the 50s. Then came along the early into middle 80s, to me, maybe late 80s, was the second golden era. You want to talk about a lot of people that are in the demographic, say you're in your 30s or your 40s, maybe even your 20s, but I'll say 30s or 40s. You think the golden era was the Monday Night Wars in the middle 90s. I was in the business. It was great. Late 90s. Yeah. Golden era, it's third in line to me. Just giving you my opinion. You're allowed to do it too. Say something here. We're only half an hour in. I'm getting ready to wrap it up. I got a lot of other stuff to present here on the channel. So don't go anywhere. The final WCW, take your notebooks out. You guys know this. Take your notebooks out. The final WCW Monday Nitro saw a storyline in which Shane McMahon, purchased WCW from underneath his father's guise. It led to a limp, again, that word's being thrown around here, storyline in which C-level WCW stars invaded the WWE. I wouldn't call these guys C-level stars. They're legends, Hall of Famers. Stars like Lance Storm, Booker T, and Buff Bagwell, well, for a night anyway, couldn't help the brand stay alive, and after a string of attempts, McMahon ultimately decided to shut down the existence of the brand. How about that? Not only did he ruin the fucking territories, the Monday Night Wars as well. And you see where he is now in 2024. You can't take away what he did, though. Besides all the despicable, human, disgusting things that he's involved in, allegedly involved in, whatever the case is, you can't take that away. None of us would be here if it really wasn't for him, or at least in this fashion. No? As McMahon shut down the existence of WCW, Past WCW stars, icons, joined the WWE over the years, such as the Nature Boy Ric Flair, as we aforementioned, Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, and Goldberg. Say what you want about him. I get it. From injuring Bret Hart and ending his career, to his limited skills, to still wanting to be involved in 2024 with one more run. During the Monday Night Wars and during that era of WCW, he was an attraction. He put asses in seats. And as Captain Lou Albano once said, the only thing real in this fucking business is the money and the miles. Remember that. So say what you want about Goldberg. Go back and research it for yourself. Open up your eyes. Don't have tunnel vision. Nothing worse in life than tunnel vision. And wrestling, competition is king. It raises every organization to a higher level or a higher power. You might say that, at least in this instance anyway. Since 2001, 2001 if you will, the lack of storylines, and for that we mourn. We mourn as it's tarnished pro wrestling, ring psychology, emotional investment, storytelling. Think about it. Katie Vick would have never been born had WCW never died. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and research it. The ball rolls on, and we continue here on Chaos Corner. Come on back. I'll say that to say this. Because I tell it like it is. Don't you dare miss it.